Today we're going to show you some interesting footage of what's happening on the front lines of the war between Russia and Ukraine, especially how Ukrainian forces are conducting attacks with FPV drones. The shared footage shows Ukrainian FPV drones hunting down all Russian soldiers on the battlefield, including North Korean soldiers who are now reportedly deployed in the Kursk region. To date, there have been 196 frontline battles between Russian and Ukrainian forces, and Russia has suffered heavy casualties. It lost 1,120 soldiers, 13 tanks, 26 armored vehicles, and 52 artillery systems. Over the past 24 hours, an incredible moment occurred when a Russian soldier jumped out of a moving tank to escape death after a high-speed chase. One wonders if the jumper was a North Korean soldier or just a Russian soldier, as the North Korean soldiers seem to be unfamiliar with such things. The shocking footage shows a vehicle full of Vladimir Putin's men being hunted down and brutally murdered by a Ukrainian FPV drone. And the video shows the Russians speeding down the road as the deadly Ukrainian FPV drone chases them. At the same time, another drone footage shows the soldier desperately trying to jump out of the vehicle, with one person in front of the other trying to save himself. One soldier manages to get out, oddly still holding his big gun while his friends fail to escape in time, but from the attack, we can imagine what happened to the soldiers next. Ukrainian FPV drones also spotted a Russian soldier hiding in a foxhole in Russian-controlled territory. Instead of launching an attack, the drone operator chose not to attack, giving the soldier a chance to escape. On the same day from the Kursk direction in Donetsk Oblast, there are a lot of updates. Russian forces trying to encircle Ukrainian positions found their armored columns devastated by concealed tanks and drone strikes. Here, amid escalating efforts to bypass fortified defenses, Russian forces focused on a turning maneuver aimed at forcing Ukrainian withdrawals and capturing key settlements without direct confrontation. However, so far, Ukrainian forces managed to disrupt this operation through relentless counterattacks, forcing the Russians to revert to costly frontal assaults and continue fighting on terms dictated by the defenders. As detailed in the previous report, Russian forces have launched a multifaceted offensive employing various tactics to advance. This includes deploying small infantry groups to infiltrate plantations and villages, creating a gradual buildup of forces. These maneuvers, often called bag tactics, involve encircling Ukrainian positions by spreading out in a comb-like formation. This method aims to box in Ukrainian troops, forcing them into untenable positions and compelling retreats under pressure from attacks on multiple flanks. The area's geography poses significant challenges for Ukrainian defenders. The topographic map shows that Ukrainian-held settlements are situated in lowlands while Russian forces advance from higher terrain. This elevation advantage enables Russian troops to exert effective fire control, target Ukrainian positions with long-range artillery, and closely monitor their movements. In response, Ukrainian forces have begun regrouping closer to a line of settlements that offer more favorable defensive positions and improve logistical support for troop movements and supplies. Recent reports highlight a concentrated Russian effort to advance toward the village of Dalna. Their objective here is a flanking maneuver through Dalna aimed at creating the threat of operational encirclement and bypassing the need to fight for each settlement along the line where they have been incurring heavy losses. With limited reserves and time, Russian forces cannot afford to confront every village individually. Aware of this strategy, the Ukrainian command has launched continuous counterattacks on Dalna, effectively disrupting Russian attempts to establish firm control over the area. Daln, a small settlement with limited potential for establishing strong defensive positions, is partially shielded to the south by tree lines. However, even if Russian forces attempt to secure a foothold here, Their options for advancing westward through open fields are severely constrained by the nearby Ukrainian trench networks south of Kurakova and the major defensive base at Avdiivka. Ukrainian counterattacks in the area rely on swift, targeted operations supported by armored vehicles and MRAP. They aim to disrupt Russian troop concentrations and repel mechanized breakthrough attempts. Geolocated footage captured a striking Ukrainian operation in which a camouflaged Leopard tank destroyed an entire Russian armored column advancing toward Dalny. Unaware of the Leopard's position, the column moved forward until it came under direct fire, destroying most Russian vehicles before they could react. One armored vehicle attempted to escape by reversing, but its slow retreat made it an easy target for the Leopard. The few Russian soldiers who survived and sought cover were later neutralized by grenades dropped from Ukrainian drones, showcasing the effective coordination of ground and aerial assets in the operation. The deployment of tanks and armored vehicles by Ukrainian forces demonstrates their ability to maintain operational flexibility, including secure routes for moving and extracting armor and logistical supplies or a potential withdrawal. While recent reports indicate that Russian forces have partially entered Dalny, intense clashes for control of the settlement are still ongoing. Russians' advance to Dalny has significantly stretched their supply lines, leaving their hold on the area tenuous. This allows Ukrainian forces to disrupt Russian logistics and regain the initiative. Overall, the Russian focus on Dalny reflects their strategy to achieve an operational encirclement of the entire settlement line, where they have been incurring heavy losses. Aware of this intent, Ukrainian forces are conducting continuous counterattacks to delay Russian progress. The longer the Russians are kept from securing Dalny, the more they are forced to rely on costly frontal assaults on fortified settlements further south. If Ukrainian forces can hold Dalny long enough, Russian forces risk exhausting their offensive capacity before reaching their operational objectives, potentially forcing them into a prolonged pause to replenish reserves.